that we've added to the list here, and I will look at this right now and tell you what we have. So the first thing we have is Desmond. Where'd he go? Desmond Rix. He put us in his top 10. He's got LSU, Oregon, Miami, Ohio State, USC, Bama, A&M, Florida, Jackson State, Oklahoma. Right now, I mean, those are the big heavy hitters that have been recruiting their tails off outside of the Texas, right? Those guys have been killing it. So it's good to be part of that. Florida State did not make the top 10, and he came out and said, ready for this? He said, I haven't heard from them in months. It's like they gave up or something. That's not a good look for Florida State, Steve. That's a huge L for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit contradictory because it was only about 4 weeks ago that he put us in his top 10. So it's a little bit weird to hear that if he was putting us in his top 10, that he hasn't heard from us in months. And Marcus Woodson, our recruiting coordinator, is relentless. The guy is just all over it. He's basically put us in front of kids that we never had a shot with, and some that we lost, but some that we shouldn't have even been in the conversation, like you said, I had on the table. So it's a little bit weird for him to say, I haven't heard from them in months, when just 3-4 weeks ago, based on some of the articles I'm seeing, we were still listed in his top 3. So it's just a weird dynamic that it would go from one end of the spectrum to the other. But it is what it is. Look,
like
if
the
kid's saying it, the kid's saying it.
Yeah, I mean, what does he gain by saying that? And Tim or Joel just said here, it's supposed to be. He was also planning on committing to FSU in April. So it's weird to see kind of how that thing's changed. Look, and again, it shows to where again, how even we as fans, when we're tweeting, we're talking about these kids. I mean, they're definitely maximizing and capitalizing on that. Like, I see guys tweet all the time, like, hey, what fan base can get me 6,000, right? Like, they're trying to grow their brand and their image as well through this. Peter Woods, who just committed, when he was up there committing, he had they were pumping his entire brand. It was like P-Woo was the brand. He was selling cups and bags and shirts and everything, and it's a whole new world, which I commend him for doing that. I mean, he took full advantage of his commitment and the way he handled it and did it. So that was kind of cool to see.
Yeah, but to your point, you're right. Like, the kid just in April, like, what are we talking about? Like, it's July, right? In April, he said that he was close to committing to FSU, and we're talking about a 4 or 5 star DB here. Like, there's no chance that all of a sudden FSU just never called the guy again. Like, there's something else behind it. Like, you don't go from the dynamic of that high level of a recruit in April willing to commit to it's the beginning of July and he hasn't heard from us in months. Like how does that even? Those two things just rub weird. It just something doesn't translate. But again, like, the kid wouldn't say it if he didn't feel it. So there's maybe something else to it on that end.
Yeah, look, I mean, I don't think he would lie. Like, what does he gain? He's a high school kid. I mean, it's not like it's like that, like the whole drama with the Rashada's lawyer, where he's like trying to just stir stuff up. You know what I mean? Like, he's obviously just being genuine here. The next guy we have is Jordan Big Baby Hall. This guy's from West Side, so he's 5 minutes on the road from you, Steve.
That's where I went to high school.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I reached out to a few guys that I know not went to high school. I was like, look, can you get us? Can you help me get this guy on? I messaged him. He's got to his top 10 are Oregon, LSU, kind of the same thing. Ohio State, Miami, Auburn, South Carolina, USC, and then he has Florida State, Georgia, and Florida. His top 3 right now that it has from 247 is for he's warm in is Florida State, and then Georgia, South Carolina. Crystal Ball predictions have him going to Florida State. So that one could be.
Well, you won't hear from us in months, so
yeah, I mean, look, if that could be huge. That's a 4-star, but I think he has potential to bump up an extra star. I mean, the guy's a beast. Like I said, he goes to West Side, and he's brought a lot of attention to West Side, which is cool for that type of for that area of town and for Jax is for sure. It's a small school, so.
Yeah. Well, it's not a small school by any stretch of the imagination, but they don't get a lot Talent out there. You don't.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
In a sense,
you just don't see a lot of talent coming out of. I still call it Forest, but yeah, West Side, whatever it's called.
Like the Nices, we've heard of Nice before, right? I mean, guys kind of flow through there. Bartram.
There may be a guy who went to Florida that may have played there.
That dabbled. Yeah. So, Rob, a little about A. Mazzell. We're kind of on. We're waiting. He tweeted out on Thursday after that all the massive news came out that he just said soon. And I know Marcus Stokes was tweeting at him. Everybody's tweeting at him. So we'll wait and see. But I haven't heard much more from that. I was trying to figure out if anybody knew anything, but it's not much. We don't have much news on that just yet. So we're waiting to see. The next thing we have is – go ahead.
Real fast, Tyler has a message for you. I won't repeat it out loud, but he does say that you have a nice mustache. So you got that going.
Scared money don't make money.
You know, he said, "Go Gators, and nice mustache." Thank you, Tyler. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate the love there.
See?
Let's see. John Wilcox just became a new member, by the way. Welcome to the Earned Your Wings. Welcome to becoming a pigskin. Saw a tweet by Darren Hetler recently. Basically, recruiting trends in history prior to July 1st is now irrelevant. Okay, so like everything we heard about prior, a lot has changed. I mean, look, I think a lot of people that I know, I've been seeing a lot of people kind of commenting on our stuff because of the big three, the haul that I've been talking about on July 28th with Jakeem Jackson, Derek LeBlanc, and John Walker. John Walker was not heavy on Florida. Now everybody's saying that he is. Everybody's saying LeBlanc is to OU. When I looked up LeBlanc, it looks like Florida still has a chance. I think we have to kind of just put that to the wayside. A lot of things are changing. And again, we keep saying this because these kids can still decommit. But if we can get the energy in the right way early on and kind of get a handful to go the right direction, that's going to be huge. I mean, but honestly, not until next February and January when everybody signs. I mean, Harold Perkins last year, I mean, he was already committed like off the rip, and obviously he changed. So a lot could happen.
Look, the one thing I will say is the early signing period does help tremendously with some of these early commits, especially if you have got a decent season, coming out of the gate for Billy. Those guys are likely to not waver. Some of your decommits last year came from the fact that you were going through a coaching change, which if Billy comes out and has, the season that you guys are hoping and the talent that he has plays to what they can do, then that early signing period is going to lock these kids up. And I want to say December, and instead of having to wait until February, and that by itself could really be a huge factor in
momentum.
This. I mean, that 3 month window between having to wait until February. Yes, exactly. So it is what it is. We'll see how it holds up. But that early signing period is a huge benefit for Florida on some of these commits.
The next we have is Andy Jean. And again, like I want you guys to realize, like I'm not over here, like I don't have as much as connection as I would like as other guys do. I follow a couple of different people to kind of get these things to bring this to you, and I want to give some credit to those guys. So Connor Clark, who's been on here, that guy is on the ball with his information. So I stay locked in with that guy. So I just want to give him a shout out. The guy is incredible, great guy. We need to get him back on here soon. We got Big Game Boomer coming on Wednesday. That's going to be an absolute blast. So we're excited for that. But right now, Andy Dean, he's got us in his top 5. His top 5 is Bama, Miami, Georgia, A&M, and then obviously the Gators. That's some great company to be around. That is huge. I mean, all 5 of those names right now are making headway in the recruiting for 2023. I mean, Alabama is obviously Bama. Miami has made one hell of a run this year, right?
Unbelievable.
Georgia is, I mean, they're coming off a natty, so they're obviously a big deal. Then you got A&M, they're coming off of the highest recruiting class of all time, right? So all these things, these are some big names for Florida to be associated with. We can steal this guy away from those guys. And again, Marcus Stokes, who is the number 1 quarterback out of Florida, is a huge help into pulling guys just like this.
Yeah, for sure. And just real fast, we got Daniel Rivera back at it again, and Scoop with the quick. Go away, Daniel.
Quick.
I love the comments. These guys
they're their own beast. I'm gonna get to that in a minute. I see it going. I've got it paused on the last comment that I read. I'm waiting to get to those guys. Those guys are incredible. Next we have Samuel Pimpimba, who I mentioned I think in the last one that we have our eyes on, and that what I would love to get. He's an edge. He's a 6'4", 250 edge from Missouri. He's ranked as a top 30 player in the 2023 class. He's a number 4 edge, and he's down to his top 7. He's got Notre Dame, Oregon, Florida, Georgia, and Oregon's been making a little bit of run. They just signed Dante Moore to commit, who's like the number 3 quarterback for 2023, which we kind of all knew that was coming. Then Miami again, Bama, and then Tennessee as well. So heavy on the SEC side of things. Notre Dame, I'm not too concerned about. Oregon, that concerns me a little bit. When it gets down to the top 5, I would have a little bit more of a say on that. Let me actually look him up and see where 247 has him right now to see. Because, look, this is a big one that I think would be good for us. Let's see here. Let's see. Georgia's always, and he's IMG. So Notre Dame. So right now, Cristobal has him going to Miami, and he's a 5-star. There's that 5-star I told you that Florida needs to pull. So we've got a low ranking on him right now. Notre Dame is warm, and Cristobal is to Miami, which is unfortunate. That's.
Ooh. Gosh, Cristobal is just lighting the world on fire down there,
and that's scary. Slinging
I don't know if
stars,
you
dude.
guys have ever. This is what Miami did when they were just the dynasty that nobody could topple. They locked down the entire southern part of Florida, and there's so much talent down there. This is what it looked like. This is how it built, and this is what started to be the Ed Reed, Willis McGahee, Clinton Portis. Like, it was just year after year after year, you just shook your head like there's no way. But this is what they did. This is where these guys came from. And if Cristobal is able to do it, this is exactly what they did the last time. This is how they started. I hate to say it. I know we got a couple of Hurricane fans in the comments here, but my gosh, if one thing about history repeats itself, I hope it's not this. Please, gosh.
It's giving you signs to that early 2000s look of what it could be, of what could be, right? And that to me that's nerve-wracking.
Stinky.
That's nerve-wracking. The last one we have is Jalen Hayward. He just gave his top 12. That's a little early. I mean, we're just throwing names out there. He's a 4-star safety. He's got Miami, Oklahoma, LSU, Bama, A&M, Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, UCF, Tennessee, Florida.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
At this point, I'd almost want to just talk about the outliers, like Ohio State, Texas A&M, Florida, Georgia, right? But so when somebody like a UCF pops up, that's what I want to hear. Like, oh, we got UCF in the top 12.
Look, good for them, man. Good for them.
Yeah,
that's the start. I don't see FSU on that list.
No, that's. I mean, look,
they probably didn't call him back.
Probably a better team than we. You guys haven't heard from us in months.
Probably didn't call him back. But yeah, look, those are some good news, man. It's good to see this energy back in the right direction of who we've got on the board. So I'm excited for that there.